everybody, good morning and welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, Kiki, apparently taking second billing today. Keekers, what you doing? Yeah, Disembodied Hands, Quindy, Justin, Sean, we all know you really just want to see the puppy, the monster puppy. Okay, enough, no more mouths, good girl. Good girl, no more mouths. Oh, what a good girl now. Okay, so I swear she grew like 200 adult brain cells in the last day. Like, hi there, you're so big. Yes, everybody's so impressed at how big you are. Good girl, Keeks. Good girl. Yeah, it's time to work. Okay, no. The sleeve is not to pull. No, back up. Kodiak, you're the one whose wife wants one of these. She's not done growing. She's a monster, and she is not even 7 months. She will be 7 months in 2 days. She is over 24 inches at the shoulder, and she is 60 pounds. Maybe even over 60. I don't know. I haven't weighed her for a whole week. So, yeah. Ugh. Wow. Kiki. You know what, though? Now I tell her that it's time to go work, and she gets all excited. She's like, she knows what it means. You would have a heart attack with a dog this big. or having a dog this big lunge up at you and try to nibble your ear. You missed the Kiki, Agent Marvel. Hey, Kiki, are you still here? Agent Marvel missed you. Can you up? Oh, there we go. Here, I'll lift you. Good girl. There we go. There's the happy face. You're a good girl, you nibbler. Oh, I'll be fine. Your wife doesn't know what she's getting into. You should have her watch some of the early Kikis. Hi, baby. Good girl. Oh, good girl. Yeah, you've got a good smile on today. Very good girl. Oh, so good. Oh, my gosh, you get extra attention. Okay. Time to work, Keeks. No nips. Nope. Oh, no, I forgot my phone and my water. I should get that. It'll let me reset the Kiki. Hold on. Reset the key. She's turning into a better girl. Hold on, guys. Let me get my stuff. I accidentally forgot my water, and I need that. No. We gotta go back and talk to people. We do. Well, first we have to get this. We forgot these. Yeah, we forgot them. All right, now it's time to work, boss. So settle down. It's time to work, Papa. Gotta settle. Now it's time to work. It is. It's time to work. Good girl. Okay, go settle. No. Such a sweet girl who's grabbing with her teeth at my cuff right now. So yeah, Keeks won't get 100. I think Kiki is going to be between 70 and 80 pounds. Like if she's a solid 80, like Kiri was, I think she's actually going to be Kiri sized. If I had to guess, Kiri was about 26, 27 inches at the shoulder at adult, and 75 to 80 pounds depending. Turgeon's all about it. He's like, I tell you, Turgeon, I get them every morning. Like, I get updates every morning. It's like freaking Christmas every morning. Oh, yeah, 80 pound. Yep. Yeah, I like big doggos. Yeah. Quindy. But seriously, guys, it's like, and it's so funny because when you have a puppy, there come those days where it's like a switch flips in their brain. And they just stop doing, like, the stuff that they were. Like Kiki used to, jump up onto the, with her front half. In the morning, her routine was to be a slipper beast, which was she would bring me both slippers as I was still in bed. David just gotten out of the shower, and then my alarm goes off pretty much. So I wake up, and then he lets Kiki out of her pen, and she would always put her front half on the bed across from me and try to, lick and bite at me, and she would bring me my slippers. But now, the last 2 days, it has suddenly been, I grab a slipper, and then I jump onto the bed, all of me, and then I lay down next to mommy for pettins while I try to lick her face. And I drop the slipper. So, but she's not, biting at all. She's, really much, even though it's, all on the bed and, want to, totally, lie next to mommy and, get scruffles and lick her, it's not bitey anymore. It's her mouthing has gone, from, a lot of mouthing, almost 80%, her mouthing has gone down, 20% in, 2 days. Yeah, she's getting older, she's about to hit the 7-month mark. We'll see usually a huge jump in maturity somewhere around the 1 year mark, but we'll see. But yeah, so she's really, like, over the last couple of days, she's really improved. I'm really kind of happy. Like, you can kind of see David is much happier, and you can kind of see the adult dog she's going to become. So, yeah. And she's probably going to have some backslides. Like, I'm sure there are going to be days where she's just way bitey. But, yeah, I'm kind of hoping we're on the slope of less bitiness at this point. But yes, Sturgeon, I got different fonts for book covers today. That's what I got from my my cover artist. So, hold on, I can get them. Boop, let me find them. There, wong. I have to go very, very in. So she wanted me to look at different fonts for just suitability and mood. So we're playing around with different fonts now that we have a composition we like. I still personally prefer the first one, hands down. Hands down. Yeah, it's changed a lot, Korniko, right? I didn't see you. I didn't think there was, and you missed a stage in there. There was one day you weren't on. But yeah, so different fonts. It's like, I feel like this one is just full of itself. Like, I just don't know. It's just not quite. I would see it on a fantasy steampunk cover, but not on mine. This one is too fey. Like, it is very fey, but this book, and although I have fey in my world, this book is actually not about them. So I feel like this would be good for a different series in the world, but not for this one. This was just too boring. And this one, I don't like the cursive E with the block letters on the rest. So, yeah, I mean, this would have been the second one, except this one is also a lot less legible, Turgeon. Like, fancy's cool, but it's got to look good when you shrink it down on an Amazon screen. And I have trouble reading that when I make it small. Whereas this one I can still read. You get it? Because it can't just be artsy. It's also got to be readable. But yeah, the first one I just love. Like, I've loved it. It was the first one she threw on there just as a placeholder, but I still feel it's epic, it's fantasy, it feels fairy tale to me. It's not too unreadable. It's not too boring. Yeah, right. It would look wrong. I mean, it could look like, but you're still probably gonna get it. Like, it's still like, the most legible one is number 4, but that's the same font as the author name. And it's just boring, and it's not quite the same. It's bold, but it doesn't have the sweeping epic feel to it. Right. See, I feel like the first one is the one that it's been pretty much from the beginning, and I feel like I can do that. Yeah, you could read it differently because it's fancy and all that, but you can still read it if you like, what's that? And then you look and you're like, oh, east, yeah, fine. But that's the most legible. That first one is the most legible, other than the really block letters, not that mood. Because you also have to, if the font is actually important for the genre, right? It has to fit the genre. So I feel like font 1 is young adult fantasy without being too hard to read. But yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. It's like, you still would like zoom in on it to see. Right. And it's the imagery too and stuff like that. We can see the bear, but he's not overwhelming. It is a very busy cover, and that's what Rav has been saying. She's just been she's made some changes just because it was very busy, and she wanted to kind of tone it down. That's why she dropped the sun down to the bottom, which I actually like. Yes, me too, Pendrick. Actually, on the nose there, I really like how the swirl on the S is interacting on the sun. Yeah. Oh, I can't zoom. Ah, it's fighting me. Ah. Well, yeah, fine. Oh, my phone is so upset with me right now. It's like, rawr. Anyway, you got the idea. But yeah, I liked that a lot also. So I should actually tell her that, because then it's like the font, it de-emphasizes the sun a little bit, and things like that. But yeah, since she's in the UK and I'm over here on the West Coast, it's really she's working overnight for me and I'm responding overnight for her. So it's funny. But, yeah, yep, I agree, Agent Marvel, and I think the author name needs to be the blocky one there. Because if the other one doesn't feel right to me otherwise. I really want a font that says sweeping epic, because it is an epic fairy tale adventure, for sure. So, Oh no, Twistova, you missed the Kiki twice, and you missed my book covers. Oh my gosh. Well, you just have to catch up tomorrow. It's all good. No big changes on book covers. All right, let's block in some of this crap down here. I wish there was more room, guys. I wish there was more room up here to put an accent color somewhere. Like, the problem with Fishy, as I have painted him, is that there's no good place to put like a coral accent. But maybe I can do one down here and just not worry too much about it. Or maybe I can put a coral rings on his hand. Maybe that would work. I was thinking about an accent color. Definitely these guys are just going to be pouches. But I was thinking about the bottle. And I was like, you know, I wonder what I could do. So maybe I'll try it. And if it's too much, then it's a no. But yeah, I mean, I could have, if I would have thought about it, I would have maybe introduced some coral designs onto the vest. But I like the vest the way it is with the fish scales. So I think I'm going to keep it. So, all right, let's just block in our leather and then see what we can do with a couple of additional, like with a color, additional color here or there. All right, fishy. And of course I've got my gate in totally the wrong place to reach my paint, which is not ideal. Not ideal. I'm like working on so many things right now because it's like I gotta get this $10 PDF is like eating my life. All right, so some browns for the pouches, and then I'm gonna grab. Honestly, Lotus Orange is a pretty good coral color, so we'll see if I can sneak it in there, maybe de-emphasize it with some purples a little bit, and see what I can do. I'd have to paint them over. I thought about that, Crowley. Like, there's actually 3. Actually, there's 5. So I could do that, although they're only the first one is really visible, so I'm like, and I already painted it. So I'm like, we'll have to see. I mean, you're still mostly going to be looking at him, and any additional color is going to be down here. I might be able to do some color more on his like fins. I could maybe put some different colors on his fins. I don't know. I'm going to block it in and see what I can do. I'll block in the coral color over the bottle first, and then I will go and do the brown on the pouches, and then I can do the netting over the bottle in the brown. However, I am going to go put down white first because, oh no, when I stole my white went in the other room. Arrgh! I can't win today. And now Kiki wants to eat the floor. Kiki! No. If you're going to do that, I'm going to put you out. It's just knots in the wood. She thinks she can get the knots out of the wood, guys. Kiki! Oh, doglets. Oh, doglets. What are you doing? I need my your white. Hi! What? Hello! You are being silly. You cannot get the knots out of the wood. Come on. Come out. I may have to get her a more engaging chew. Apparently the bully stick is just not doing it for her this morning. You want a pig ear, you silly beast? Do you want a pig ear? Yeah? I'll give you a pig ear if you stop pawing the floor. But if you paw the floor, I have to evict you. Did you get extra things today? It's a sunny day. Yes, ooh, piggy. Whoa, where's the pig ear? There it is, get it. If she doesn't stop, I'll have to evict her. But yeah, seriously, she saw knots in the floor. Yeah, they're her mortal enemy. Yes. No, knots out of the wood. Knots, Twisted Oma. We have actual wood planking, and it has actual knots in it, and she's just decided there's 2 knots right in front of the gate that she's like, that's a thing! I can get it if I try hard enough. Now she's got a pig ear, so she should hopefully settle down. Hopefully. If not, I have to evict her. I have to evict her and her pig ear and her to beyond the gate. Beyond the gate. But yeah. Yeah, it's past work hours for my cover artist for sure. Yeah, so it's kind of funny because, like, yeah, she's working while I'm asleep, and then when I wake up in the morning, I had to tell her that the other day because she was like, she emailed me twice, and I was like, just so you know, I'm way over here. So when I wake up and check my email, it's already almost past your work time. But hopefully she's got it now, and so we're settling into more of a routine. I do really, really like this cover artist. I love her high level of communication. I love that she's obviously got a process. It makes sense. It's a process that makes sense, and it's like her work is good. Like, she's got a great eye. She's not afraid to like see a problem, make a change, and then check with you and say, hey, what do you think of this? And obviously I could have poor taste and not go with her advisement, but I'm not going to be that person. I really am paying for a pro on this, like, seriously. I think this is my favorite part, except for writing the book. I think this is my favorite part of the indie publishing process. Like, it's so much fun as being an artist myself to like watch this like come into play and be able to collaborate with an artist. And I would never get to do this if I was traditionally published. Not ever. Yeah, it is. Yeah, sunset early. Yep. All right, so I'm just going to paint this entire bottle in the white. And then we're going to paint the whole thing in the coral, at least up to the cork. Oh, I might need a little bit. This is very tacky. Sometimes you look at bones and you can see kind of a sheen on it. And I just know that it's going to resist. And look, none of the paint has resisted up till now. But now this bottle wants to resist paint sticking to it. So that means I'm going to double down. I did thin this 4-to-1, but I'm actually going to go and add 2 more drops of paint. So I'm up to 6-to-1. And I'll see if that'll stick. But yeah, I love this. I love this cover process. I love the cover artist. My biggest frustration yesterday was just that I worked on the Patreon PDF. It's taking so long. Sometimes there are those days where you can work on a thing all day and get it done and feel great. And then there are days when you work on a thing all day and it's still not done and you feel like you just want to punch the wall. I was that way yesterday. It's just this Patreon PDF is a really hard one because it's mixing from, mixing skin tones from scratch. And so it's a process that I have to stop and think and go, if I didn't know anything, how would I need this to be described so that I would feel like I could do it, right? So it's that kind of thing. So it's like any time you're talking about color theory or color mixing and you're trying to really simplify the process, you have to stop and do a lot of thinking and you have to do a lot of revision. And so as I was reading through the PDF, I'd just stop and rewrite whole paragraphs. And this is the amount of time that it takes sometimes. This is why PDFs are so time intensive. Videos are like intensive for the editing, but the shooting and the editing, and sometimes the reshooting if you like aren't happy with it, which I've done before. There's one video I had to reshoot twice. I don't remember which one it was, but it was a double reshoot because I wasn't satisfied with the first 2. So videos take time of a different sort, but PDFs can really eat it. Because not only then do you have to get the text right, but you have to do swatches and photos, right? So that's a whole different, like a whole day of just painting swatches and photos, whole work day. Yeah, exactly, Big Jimbo. Oh, keys, yeah. Yeah, since the element needed that big repair with its catalytic converter thing, it's been pretty good. I haven't had a problem since, knock on wood on the floor. There. All right. This bottle's a little distended. It's a little weird because of the molding process, so I'm actually going to cut it off a little bit with some heavy lining. You get that sometimes when it's a complicated, like, especially spheres, like bottles and things, they tend to get pushed or sculpted a little bit flat out here. You can see how it's not, like, this is nice and round, but then you see how it gets wider here. So there's kind of a section here that's kind of wonky. So I'm really just going to darken it down. Ideally, if I'd noted it earlier, I would have just sculpted over it so it would be fabric. But if you don't want to do that, you can just shortcut it. I'm going to grab some Rogue Shadow just and put that down. Put that down. Got good enough coverage. But yeah, you can kind of see here how it's like the netting isn't really here. It's kind of just the cloth, and so, but it's like weird. It's kind of up on the bottle, so I'm gonna just block that in. I'll paint it over in my my dark blue indigo mixture, and we'll just run with that. But I want it to be a round shape like it is there. So we'll just pretend that essentially that the cloth is mounting up and kind of pushing up against the back of the bottle, and that works. He's made the folds actually the same size, same level as the netting, so we can paint that optical illusion. And same up here, it's kind of flattened out the cork and the thing, right? So we can't do as much there because we're right up against his belly, but we can make sure we've got a nice hard line, and we can line around the top of the bottle, and we can bring it down, kind of like paint out a little bit here and reshape it a little. Chances are, if I was doing this piece for competition, I would absolutely have kind of done some sculpting here to fix it. But as I am just doing it for stream, and maybe eventually it gets tossed into the Reaper gallery, I don't need to be super anal about it. I'm going to trim up this side, same thing. All right, that's about as good as it's going to get, except I feel like because of the wobbliness of it, I want to make this side come up a little bit more. There. And I want to essentially make sure it doesn't look too weird and distorted for the top. So that may mean bringing it up a little bit more. It's a little better. It's actually straighter than it looks. There it is. It just looks weird when I do it that way. Hey, Miniatures Den, how's it going? It's alpaca day. What noises do alpaca make? I would have made an alpaca noise there if I knew how to make one, but I don't know what noises alpacas make. So, yeah. Yes, welcome, Paca peeps. I am trying to get down just this white. I was fixing this bottle's a little wonky in the sculpt because of the molding process. So I just was kind of like paint plastic surgerying it to still look pretty round. And I'm going to try a coral color, and I may have to repeat that coral color up here. I may actually do the end of his little mustaches here in coral. It might be funny. I might do that. My problem is I need an accent color, but there's really not a lot of good places to put an accent color up top on the figure. When they get really mad, they pop up and down in his, huh? I am not familiar with either creature's sound, so. But it sounds like they only make sounds when they're like really irritated and upset. And I'm not irritated and upset when I get a raid from Luca, so, you know. Quindy might be irritated and upset at Luca on a regular basis, but other than that... Sadly, there is no belly button ring. Yes, I know. And again, if we had thought about this in advance and not just start painting this model, if I was doing this for a competition, I might have sculpted some stuff. Yeah, like you say, maybe I would have given him a necklace with a big gem in it to pull an accent color up. Ooh, flurries, nice. All right, so we're going to grab this coral color. This is actually lotus orange. It is, there it is. There's the camera. That's the color it is. It doesn't have great coverage, which is why I put down the white first on the potion bottle. There we go. Now I'm going to probably shade this down. I'm going to grab, sometimes purples can be used to shade oranges. Mostly if they're like a reddish purple, runic purple is usually, if I need to use a purple to shade a yellow or an orange, I use runic or something similar. It's a lighter and very reddish purple. So I'm going to use it to kind of mute out this color a little bit so it's not quite as distracting, and to shade it. Alrighty. Orange bottle. It's going to be very distracting out the gate. It does need to be muted though, especially so it doesn't kind of contrast with the copper. Like putting this orange on immediately throws the copper much more brown. Do you see that? Like if I cover this up, the copper looks more orangey. And if I put it on, boom, it like the copper like starts to look more brown. Because then you're essentially, it's like when you show the eye is like, oh, that's very orange because it's next to the blue. But then when you put a real orange on, the eye goes, oh, that's not orange at all. Now I have something, because you've given the eye a basis for comparison. It's the same reason that doing NMM and metallics on the same model is fraught with peril, or doing OSL plus metallics is fraught with peril. When you give the eye something that looks more realistic for comparison, then your illusions are in danger. It's like you're trying to pull off a magic trick while somebody is standing next to you showing the audience how it's done. It doesn't work. I would argue that if you are doing the OSL, say, on the front of the model and the metallics are purely on the back of the model, you could get away with it then. Yes, no snow here. In fact, it's in the 60s during our warmest hour now. Like around 2 to 3 p.m. We're supposed to get up to 62 today. Still gets down into the 30s at night. It's kind of like Arizona. Like in a lot of ways, like this part of California, the South Bay, reminds me of going to visit my parents in Arizona in February, where it's like really cold at night, but then because it's in the desert, but then it's it warms up nicely during the day. You feel pretty good. Speaking of which, I need to plan that trip. Because Kiki seems like she's getting a little better, so I think I will drive down to Arizona with Kiki in February. Maybe I'll do it the same weekend that David is skiing, which I think is a little bit later in the month, around like the 17th, 18th, somewhere around there. But I'll keep you posted, Quindy. I'll just check in with him about it, because it would be convenient. Like if he's going to leave, it'd be convenient to just take the dog and zip off. But it would probably mean me being gone for a few days from the stream, because obviously it's 2 days to drive down and 2 days to drive back, and I'd want to spend at least 2 days there. So, but I do feel like I want to visit my folks, and they would love to have the grand pup visit with me. So I've just put some purple down here on the bottom, and I'm doing some wet blending because the orange is still a little wet to blend it in. And that is going to mute some of the orange down, the coral color. The other thing that will mute that down is when I start highlighting it with some white. So I do want to get my netting done as well. So I've kind of shaded down the bottom part. And then I've got to get my color for my pouches here. What brown haven't I used lately? Let's see. Got all this crap over here that I'm trying to work with. Let me move it off of my paint. Feel like I don't have. Yeah, maybe. It's a little close to copper. I would say harvest, but it's too close to the copper. So I don't want to use a red brown. By that same token, I'm probably going to have to go with like russet brown or blackened brown. Nut brown's too muted. Just kind of looking at my options here. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with blackened, and then highlight that with russet and a bit of something mixed in russet that I haven't decided on yet. But yes, that is a very bright little accent. I feel like I need to make his eyes that color then, if I'm going to do it. And I feel like, one sec. Had kind of put some yellow into his eyes, or the base of some yellow, but I was like, no, I think I want orange. If I can pop it enough. I wish his eyes were bigger, because then this color would be bigger. It makes him look rather infernal to give him orange eyes. That's not bad. So yeah, after I dim this down, because after we put the netting on, there isn't going to be much orange here at all. It's not going to be this big ball of orange. Yeah, cat trees are cool. And I'll do the cork on the bottle at the same time in the same way. So let's do black and brown. Black and brown has great coverage too, so it'll be nice, quick. I think, I don't know, I'll probably do more copper on the tooling here, but maybe I'll do just gold just to mix it up, to add a little bit different stuff. If it's little touches, it's okay, and you don't have to repeat it everywhere. Yeah, hey, my eyes are up here. Yeah, I like the orange with the eyes. I mean, it works, so, although I did miss a spot. There. But yeah, once I have this netting painted over with just a little bit of the orange showing, then it's going to be a lot less obnoxious. And also once I paint in some highlights on the orange, it will also be less obnoxious. So our goal is less obnoxious. Just decorates her cat tree for Christmas. That's funny. It's a tree, right? It works. So funny. End of the month is always fraught with so much stress for me with the Patreon stuff, trying to get it all done by the end. I felt like I was ahead at one point, but then it's going to be interesting to see how I can balance my writing with my painting career. My writing career, my painting career. Like before, the writing career was really, you know, move at your own speed, right? But once the books are out, then it's on. I kind of need to write more books. And I kind of need to write them faster than I was writing them before. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to have to kind of like really watch my time and figure out what works for me for a work process. All right, so there's netting around the top of the bottle. And I'm just going to do it in dark at first. It's much easier, like don't try to line this stuff, seriously. Just paint it dark brown to begin with, and then highlight it with light browns if you want it light, and then the dark brown becomes the lining. It's just, otherwise it would be a pain in the butt to line this netting. Yeah, that's what I found with a cat tree, Turgeon. My cats didn't prefer the cat tree. They actually preferred the top of the couch, or one of them had a smaller bed, a basket bed that she preferred, and, you know, just, unless you know that they like a tree. If they were raised with a tree, I think it's different. But I got my cats a tree when they were later in life, and they already had the routines that they preferred. Can't blame them. I mean, I'm later in life, and I've got my routines I prefer, so. Hey, the Keekster has settled down. I didn't have to evict her. Yep, she's just collapsed. She's collapsed. She's sleeping on top of the knots. Oh yeah, so your cats like the cat tree. That was my old, Reka cat. She was a ornery calico, or as we called it, a bitchy calico. She really fit that archetype. And she didn't like to sleep in the cat tree. She would just like to go to the top, and if you actually approached her to pet her, you would get attacked. It was a trap. It was totally a trap. Lots about Reka was a trap. All right, so we're just, yep, we're just, and I'm going a little bit out of the lines here because remember I want this to serve as lining too, so I can go, I have permission to paint not only over the rope, but a little bit on either side. And you can already see this is starting to break up that orange, right? And as I add highlights, it's going to be even more. Oh, Turgeon, that's like John Bono and Farah, where Farah is the serial kitten fosterer. They raise newborn litters that get abandoned. Yeah. So just again blocking in the rope over here, and this is the kind of wonky part, so I'll just do the best I can to get it to work. There we go. All right. Oh no. Hey, yeah, Kundi, she's probably really stressed out. I can imagine. I hate tornado warnings. I mean, it's earthquakes out here, but I'm kind of happy it's not tornadoes. Yeah, you should, Twisted Oma. Put up. We have the cute animals channel. You should put up some pictures, or on the Reaper Discord. I don't know if they have an animals one. They probably do. Okay. All right, there we go. So that has broken it up a fair bit. That's good. In person, I do see the orange eyes, and I see this. I'm going to throw the highlights on here, on the top especially, and just see how that all plays in. I could put this little thing, I could make this little tassel on the coral as well. That might be nice. So let's actually do that. Let's put some white down and make that a little tassel. Oh, they have it on the Reaper Discord too. Good, good, good. Good, good, good. Oh yeah, pet pics. Right. I knew I'd seen something. Good, good, good. So yeah, throw it both places. If you're a patron, if you're... I don't remember if you're a patron or not. Otherwise, go to the Reaper one. Yay. So we'll make this tassel-y part orange. This part honestly looks like a frog leg to me. Like, I honestly feel like I want to paint it green like a frog leg. It's probably not actually a frog leg, but I kind of want to anyway. It makes sense that he would have a frog foot instead of a rabbit's foot for good luck. There we go. And that's a small part, so a little bit of the coral color there isn't a big deal. I think it's a good luck charm. It's not a fancy cord. I mean, Jason does like to give snack packs to his critters, but... And this is the thing, too, with this frog leg or whatever it is. You can see how the molding requires it to be really thick. And probably, in reality, the sculptor would much rather have had it be thin, right? So, what's up? You hear something out there? Is there evil? Is there great evil in the universe that you must go combat? She's getting her, she finally got her big dog bark on, so now it's like if anything unusual is outside, it's like, alert, alert, it's a shepherd. It's what you get for a shepherd. You don't get a super barky dog, but by God, if there is something suspicious outside, you will hear about it. Like, I had a Sheltie growing up, and oh my God, that dog was barky. Hi, Keeks. Hi, you just want me to make sure it's okay, right? You can hang out in here. Okay, she's going to come in and collapse by me. Not a brave dog, this one. Maybe as she gets older and more mature, she'll actually be brave. But right now it's like, oh my gosh, Mom, there might be something scary out there. Come into this office, lie down. I'm going to go by Mom. It might be scary. So since we wish that this was actually a thin piece, and it's not, and it would be super hard to cut out, if not impossible, unless you were going to drill plastic, which with this plastic, nah, probably not. So I'm going to take my Rogue Shadow, my really, really dark brown, and I'm really going to just block it in to make it go invisible on the rear side. I'm going to thin it down. Whenever you have a big fill part, if you can't like drill it out or cut it out, or you just don't have the oomph, or you're just not looking to paint it to that high a standard, just block it in really dark brown or black. And that way, look, it disappears. Woo, there's just shadow. It's just a thin frog foot now. I love Siamese tuxedo cats. I love Siamese cats in general. I don't know what Kiki would make of a kitten. But we're more likely to get a second dog for her as a friend down the road than we are to get a cat. For right now anyway, in our lives. Depends on how it goes, but like if the rest of her health testing gets passed and we decide to have a litter to help our gene pool, which is kind of the plan in the first place, then we might keep a puppy at some point. We'll see. If we do keep a puppy, I'm going to have to keep the low-key, laid-back puppy. Because David would not do well with another Kiki. Yep, frogfoot jerky. I think I'm just going to make it, like, often on models, if you throw a random color in there, but it's only one place, but as long as it's more muted, like if I choose a more muted green, like I'd probably go with like meadow green and just bring it up a little bit. But I don't know, I also could just, actually, even the better way to do it would be to grab the Surf Aqua that I'm using up here and add some yellow to it and use that. And then, actually, I could use a little bit of that up here on his fins, and thus I could repeat the color if I really wanted to. The small one rules with a paw of steel. It's funny. Yeah, Kodiak. It's like... We'll see. Like, you're on, right now, are you on Bridget's list? Is that what you're at? I know Bridget is essentially, like, Zam probably only has one more litter, and so Bridget and I were talking, because Kiki is a partnership with Bridget. It's a co-own. So, pretty much, I'm going to be, Kiki's puppies are going to be Bridget puppies for the most part. Even though I have a kennel name and I am registered as a breeder for our breed, I don't really want to do it all on my lonesome anymore. So, it's much easier to have a partner. And I love Bridget. We're good friends. So, and I trust her ethics and her methods. So yeah, you might end up getting a Kiki puppy if you're on Bridget's list. Yeah, I just don't want to do the litter box right now. And I don't, also, it's like, I'm getting to the point where I can actually get a pet sitter for Kiki. But cats are easier, but they're also harder. And like, I would need 2 separate pet sitters unless I had somebody live in the house. But yeah, I'm not into a cat right now. I had cats for many, many years alongside my dogs. And I love them, but you know, right now, I think I prefer the doglets. Some point in my life, I might go back to cats. I really loved my Abyssinian, and I would kind of like another Abyssinian. Or Siamese, because I love my Siamese too. But, yeah, not right now. Not right now. Kiki would be thrilled. Honestly, Kiki might enjoy a cat, but she would much more enjoy a dog. She loves dogs, and she loves playing with other dogs. So, keeping one of her puppies is probably the thing that would make her happiest. Kiri was super happy when we kept Blazy. Because, you know, think about it. The mama dog is like watching all of her puppies leave home. It's just like us watching, you know, kids leave home, where you get sad, right? So, Kiri was so happy when we kept Blazy. So I think Kiki, if she has puppies, is going to be like that. She's going to be thrilled because she has tiny little dogs to play with. You know, and they'll be hers. And then they're going to go away, and she's probably going to be sad. I don't want Kiki to be... Kiki, when she's sad, is just so... Like, you have to stop and try to make her feel better. Like, she's such a happy, bouncy dog most of the time. Yeah. It's all right. There's no hurry. Like, unless you're aging out. Like, if you're already kind of like, you know, if you're already in your 70s, then yeah, maybe it is more of a hurry, because obviously when you get older, it's harder to handle a big dog. But yeah, so, I mean, it is what it is. You will be so much happier with a fenced yard with these dogs, Kodiak. I'm just going to flat out tell you. It's, I mean, you can use an electric fence, and I did have one of my friends who did do the electric fence thing. But, I don't know. I just prefer a fenced yard. Until the point where the recall is good, the brain cells are in, and you can trust the dog, which is going to take at least a year. All right, so we got all that. So let's actually do that green. Let's actually test that. Just because I'm curious now. I want to grab my Surf Aqua. Where is it? It's buried under all this other stuff I've got sitting on my stuff. Stuff on my stuff. Too much stuff on my stuff, Kiki. So much stuff on my stuff. Surf Aqua. Perfect. Really. Uh-oh. Things are suspicious again, Mom. I don't know what's out there, but it's something. It's something irregular. So you could use clear yellow, you could use lemon yellow, you could use yellow mold. Any of these colors are pale greenish shade yellows, so they're not orangey at all. Probably lemon yellows. Well, yellow mold doesn't have a lot of yellow in it compared to lemon yellow, so I think that I'm going to go with the lemon. What you got? Hi, Pa. What's up, Keeks? Is there a suspicious thing? Is there a suspicious thing, Brown Eyes? Yeah? Yeah, we're still working. We're still working, big head. Your head is like almost bigger than mine. It's really scary. Oh, okay. Yeah, right, exactly. I don't like him either, Kodiak. I mean, if it's the only way, then okay, but... But yeah, I'm not a big fan either. So yeah, fenced area, definitely the best option. Shilohs aren't, unlike like pure GSDs, Shilohs are generally not big jumpers. So it's like they're not going to go over a fence like a German Shepherd or Malinois would. Like some of those dogs, they love to climb. It is not unusual for a GSD or Malinois to learn how to just jump over a 8-foot fence. But Shilohs in general are much more homebody, even the energetic ones. Yep. I was so last night she I felt like we didn't get enough time to play with her last night, and there was a point where I came out after doing my physical therapy exercises, and she was lying on the floor near our big plate glass windows and just staring at her own reflection like she wished she had somebody with her. And I was so sad, and I went and actually laid down right next to her, like right up against her, and she was good, and we just laid there for like 5 minutes, and I petted her until she decided to go dingo on me because she's still a puppy. But it was funny. Funny and sad. So yeah, Kiki, you know, when you have a super, super cheerful animal and then they kind of have a sad, and it's like the saddest thing in the world because they're not often sad. All right, so let's do this green. Let's mix just, because the blue and green in here are fast diffusing pigments, and by that I mean when you add a little bit, it overpowers a lot. So I'm going to use 4 drops of this lemon yellow and only 1 drop of Surf Aqua to start with, to start building this organic green. Yep. Well, she's still a puppy. Hey, Jabberwock. Been a long time. Yeah. Yeah, Malinois are just very, very athletic dogs. I mean, they're our Kiki's favorite playmate, but she's just more of a homebody than that. Like, I don't think she'd go over a fence. Not unless she was trying to chase a bird. And even then, like, she's an athletic dog, but she's a little heavier in the body. She's got more of that Shiloh build. So I feel like she's just not... Like, my old dog, Blazy was a sweetie and was perfectly... Like, she was a perfect princess, so she would never have done it. But capability-wise, she was a slim, athletic dog, and she could absolutely have cleared the 6-foot fence. And the 8 with practice. So, all right, let's take this lemon yellow. Let's put a little bit of the Surf Aqua in it. And essentially you are mixing yellow and blue, so you are going to get a greenish color. And the yellow that we picked and the blue that we picked are actually very suitable because this is a green shade blue with green in it, and this is a green shade yellow. So what that means is essentially they're very aligned pigments. You would have a non-aligned pigment if you had chosen a really violet blue to do this with, or if you had chosen an orange yellow and a violet blue, thus pushing them farther apart on the color wheel. What are you doing? You had better not be eating things, Missy. Kiki, what are you doing? 1 second. There are boxes over there, and boxes of toys. No, ma'am. No, ma'am, please. Do I have to borrow you from the room? You're being a disruption. I know everybody loves you. Everybody loves you. They love to see the Kiki. Do you want to get up on the chair? Get up on the chair. Come on, up. You can get up on the chair. Up. Yeah, now get up here. Good girl. My monster dog. Here's my monster dog. There she is. She's wagging her tail. Good girl. Good girl. And this time you don't get to nibble my ears. Yeah, you big doofus. You big doofus. Good girl. Okay, come on. Yeah, good girl. Yay. What a good girl. You still have a pig ear and a police stick, silly. Go settle now. Go settle. It's not time yet. We have a whole half hour. We have a whole half hour till Luca descends on us. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it happens with cats. And sometimes with dogs. I mean, eventually the cats just learn to coexist, right? It's kind of what happened in my experience with adult cats. If they don't like each other, they just eventually learn to ignore each other, hopefully. Hopefully they don't fight. But yeah. Yeah, that's my Kiki. She is 6 months, almost 7 months old. 7 months old in 2 days. She is a monster. She is a cutie. Are you going to be good, or do I have to kick you out, Keeks? She's snoodling around in my writing area, and I'm like, you better be good. Uh-oh. I hear noises. Kiki, no, that's not your box. It's not your box. I'm sorry. Do you want it? I mean, I can bring it out here. I kind of don't want you to eat it, though. I kind of want that box, Paw. Okay? I'm going to get your stuff. Yeah, I'm going to get your stuff. I'm going to borrow you from the room. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's going to go up here. Oh, no. Yep. I need you to settle, Papa. Kiki, settle down. I'll be out in half an hour. Less than half an hour now. Head to evict her. She'll get it eventually. There were factions. Yeah, I can believe it was 6. Yeah, it seems like it's, yeah, I would say that her and you, it's a good match. Okay, so now it's going to really go green. See how it goes green. So it actually went, yeah, this is about perfect. So about a 4-to-1 mix. And that's actually a pretty green. It's a little bluer than you guys are seeing it on screen. Let's see if I can get it to look right. Yeah, it's about, it is a little bit greener. It's a little bit bluer than you guys are seeing it. Hey! Hey, Crazy, how's it going? We're working on our fish stew today, and I'm kind of working on introducing some other colors into him so he's not just copper and blue. So we added a coral color to his eyes and his some objects on his belt, and now I'm going to paint the frog leg here, the lucky frog's leg, in a green, and I think I'm going to bring that green up also into a little bit over on his fins. But we'll see if it looks good. If it doesn't look good, oh, thanks. Yeah, I have different styles depending. Crazy. This is a more cartoony piece, and so like it's I feel like it's a little less realistic, and you know it depends on the piece really. Like my Knoll here is pretty realistic, all things considered, and she's still, you know, I really need to finish her. It wouldn't take that long, I tell myself, and then 3 days later. But she's done in a more realistic style with the fur patterning and everything. And then, then there's the cartoony style that I tend to do. It's much less bright than moth green. Much less bright. But yeah, so I find that as you get better at painting, you do try different styles out, and eventually, sometimes you settle on a particular style. And some painters just paint like in a style like that seems to match the piece a little bit more. So yeah. So I find these days that I mean, all my stuff probably still looks like Anne's stuff in the end because I'm very precise no matter what style I'm doing. And and I have a certain way of doing highlights and shadows that probably would still carry, an idea of being my work. But I do tend to switch it up a little bit depending on the piece. Like the dude I just started to try out my new Chimera colors, he's more cartoony, like his base is much more stylized. I'm doing some more stylized stuff on him. He's Druid. He's cool. He's a 3D print. So this, because neither of these covered, well, the Surf Aqua was a little bit more coverage, but Lemon Yellow is not super high coverage because that green shade yellow is very, very transparent. It's it's one of the most transparent pigments along with magenta. So got that green. So that is not a jarring green. That's actually a very nice green. I feel like it works okay next to some of the verdigris that we've hinted at up here. I feel like, let's actually see if we can put a little bit of it just at the edges of these fins if we like it. If not, I can paint it over. But I might like it. I'm just going to get a little bit in there. Just to warm it up. Yeah, it's shifting it greener. Yeah, the Sphinx was a good piece. Julie owns it now. It got gifted to Julie Guthrie at ReaperCon last year. So yeah, the fact that Kiki is acting a lot more mature all of a sudden has given me hope that maybe I can actually go to Adepticon. But then I'm like, oh my god, I have to get something done for Golden Demon. I don't know if I have the time. It's 2 months. So essentially, let's see if I can get this to actually show here. Let's get it in focus real close. Or actually, let me lower it down, but then I zoom in. Zoomies. So the fin has gone. You can see how it's much more blue up top. You can see how it's gone green here. And I feel like, of course, his other ear is hidden. So that did repeat my green a little bit. I feel like the green doesn't jar either way. I feel like it's okay. So I'll actually put just maybe a tiny bit of green up here on the top of the fringe. Oh yeah. Oh, green shadow is discontinued. Eek. Shadow green is a very, very, very dark green. If they wanted to get close to it, I would do a mix of 9010 pine green with a little more black or blue liner. I don't remember if it had a little bit of extra blue in it or not. But it's a very black green. I always thought black greens were pretty useful, so. But a lot of the times they don't sell great. Like both green liner and the black green are, I think, out. The green liner was canceled long ago. Bring in a little green in. All right, so there we go. So we got a little bit more green, and we have a little bit of greenish color around on the belly here. We could actually double down on that and put a little glaze of this. Get a little of this thinned down. Maybe add a touch of little green around the belly. This gives us a little bit of green around the edge of the white belly. You can see it there. It's just real subtle. It's real subtle, but it adds another dimension. And then the green down below makes more sense. And that means I can also bring up that green right south of the mouth. So there's more than one way to do an accent color, right? So we've done two ways today. One, we've brought in an accent color and just like changed the color of the eyes in order to bring it up north, right? We look for little areas. I might give him a coral ring on one of these fingers. I held off painting the rings on purpose because I was like, I might need these to be a different color, right? So I'll probably give him a coral ring on his thumb so that I can pull that orange up and around, and that'll pull your eye up to his eyes. But the second way to do an accent color is to work it into shadows, right, or highlights or pieces of the piece so that you increase its complexity and in more of a subtle way. But the color is there, and so it doesn't look out of place because you've repeated it. So I'm going to actually put a little green over here too, underneath his eye. And under the other eye. So we've got more, giving us a little bit more color complexity, a little more visual interest to add those green touches up there. It really warms up his face. And we've got them down there and we've got there. So now suddenly the skin is much more lively because we've added that. You see that green cast? Now it's all over. And I'll add a little bit up here. And under nose, up under nose, there. So now we've got much more greenish hues. Everything is popped a little bit more complex because we've added in more colors into his fishy parts. So that actually, I think, works really well. And I feel like because we've just made this more interesting, it actually does pull the eye up here before you get your eye dragged down here to this orange bottle. So this is working. So I like it a lot. It's just something I hadn't thought about before, but once we decided to do that green, it made sense to bring it up around the face. So now I want to get some of the rest of the browns. That's right, we've got our brown and we didn't really do much with it other than netting. So we can actually fill in all of the things we have not yet painted, except for I'm still stuck on that belt, which I need to tackle. But I can make a brown cord holding up the frog foot. I'm using black and brown again for this. And the little loop holding this implement. Yeah, I think I agree. The copper was a little more coppery after the green, which is nice. So I'll probably take the I used ancient oak, I think, for some of this green verdigris. I'll take that in and I'll shade this frog leg with it, or the frog foot. Red is the best for blue and gold. Red is the best because it completes the primary triad, followed by orange because it's complementary to blue, and purple because it's complementary to the gold, which gold reads as a yellow. Any of those colors will work great, Shadow Raven. Red is like the classic because red, yellow, blue is the primary triad. But you can go with a complement of either of the other colors and it will be fine. Alrighty. Yeah, fish is getting close to done. I'm going to have to think about what I want to do for basing. If I want to cut him off and put him on something else. Alrighty, so we got that pouch in there, and we're going dark brown. Dark brown, black and brown and russet brown are two browns that are just very neutral, and they don't clash with anything, which is a very useful trait to have. So whenever you have to fill in some leather somewhere and you're just really not sure if an orangey leather or a yellow leather or whatever will work, just make it a dark brown leather, highlight it up with some of the colors we'll be using in here. That will be very neutral, and then you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about clashing. We also have to highlight the cloth still. I have a lot of work to do on the cloth. Maybe that'll be next time. We'll have to highlight the leather as well and put in some copper on the fixtures. If you go purple or indigo, a bluey purple. Or wait, no, you have blue and gold. Sorry, reddish purple then. Essentially, the closer the better it'll look if you push it more toward the triads. So if you go purple, going with the reddish purple because you have blue and gold is a good idea. But up to you. I might swatch your blue and your gold next to each other on like a piece of cardstock, Shadow Raven, and try different purples next to them and see which one you think looks the coolest. Saves you time if you're not sure. So yeah, we are definitely painting stuff in. So all I need now is the staff here, which is going to be a purple black probably. Probably similar to the vest color, but even darker. I'll probably do it in like a near black, probably, and then just highlight it up with this color. So actually I should just do that. I've got my colors here. I used Nightmare Black plus Monarch Purple is what I did for this color here. And then I added just a tiny bit of white to it to pick it up and make it cover a little more solid. So if I want that kind of thing, I think I will use actually Nightmare Black with Kraken ink. Kraken ink is part of the, I think, Surf and Turf set, which is not in stock right now, but it is a black purple. You could use Nightshade purple, but I like Kraken ink because it's a little bit more vibrant. Like I can see the purple in it a little bit better. And so I think I'm going to do a mixture of these guys, which should be real dark, and I'm going to not put white in it. I'm just going to add it to the staff. That way we can cover up more. And I might just paint the belt in also with that same color. I can always highlight it with these colors. But it'll actually cover up all the stuff on this model finally. Though we still have to remember the rings. And I think he's got rings on this finger too. So I'm just going to do, knowing how intense Nightmare Black is, when I did this last one, I had to do 4 drops of the Monarch Purple and 1 drop of the Nightmare Black because it has so much blue in it. So I'm going to do the same thing. Oh, Surf and Turf is back! Woo! Guys, go buy it. It's one of the better fast palettes. How about Gloom and Grave? Gloom and Grave is really the MVP as far as I'm concerned. Love all those colors. Gloom and Grave is still out, but Surf and Turf is in. Kraken Ink, yeah, just a beautiful, vibrant black purple with less. It's got a lot less black in it than Nightshade, which is why I prefer it. I always prefer a little less black because black is very problematic when you're mixing colors, and I do a lot of color mixing. Okay, we're gonna pop these guys back in here. I have like an entire section of my drawer which is near blacks and dark browns, by the way, so it shows you how useful I consider those colors. Grab that. What do we got? We're getting close, but we are not to Luca time yet. Oh, come on. There. My water bottle was like, no! No! Hopefully today goes well. I have to mail the Holter monitor now that Kiki has passed her heart testing. I have to mail the Holter monitor to our next person in line, our next puppy in line. Will be a puppy from a different litter. Yeah, walnut is good and is good all-purpose. You can open up some more options if you get other near blacks like Nightmare and Kraken Ink and other stuff like that. Carbon gray or carbon black, carbon gray I think, just the charcoal black. But yeah, you can certainly make do with walnut. I want a bigger brush to base coat this. Where's my Reaper brush? Reaper 0. There it is. I'm going to see if this reads as black enough. I think it's not going to quite read as black enough. It's going to read as a really dark blue purple, just like the belt. I think I want a little bit of black in it. It's very vibrant. It's a little bit too much. I want it to highlight up as a kind of a bluish purple, kind of an indigo, but I do want it to read as a black when I get it in there. So adding 2 drops of black, that should take it pretty far down. The black pigment is very overwhelming, especially the high solids black, high density black that's in pure black. So, because I can see that that is a very blue purple, which I love for like the cloth here, but I don't love for the stick. All right, that's a little bit, yeah, it's more like what I wanted. It's not a true black. It definitely has blue and purple in it, but it reads much more as a black. Yeah, near blacks are very useful because that lets you avoid using a pure black, which is very dead, visually dead. It doesn't really do anything, just sits there. Tells the viewer not to look at it. And generally dark colors will do that. I mean, walnut brown painted on the underside of stuff will still tell the viewer not to bother with it. But this way, if you hire building highlights with an off black, at least your highlights are more interesting than just basic gray without having to add any other colors. There we go. Nightmare is 9280, but it's very blue. Very, very blue. It's actually, black indigo is probably a better off black. And Nightmare you have to remember it's very, very blue, and so when you mix it with things or highlight it with adding white, you'll be shocked at how blue it comes up. Nightmare black, Kraken Ink, black indigo. I'm going to just pop this onto the belt here since it's close to what I want. Although I could go a little darker with the belt here and that would be fine. But then if I do that, I want to also go darker here. Can't see a lot of the belt in here, so that's pretty good. Yeah, it's very blue, very blue. When you paint it on straight though and thick, it does look black. I've always loved blue blacks. I love, that was actually one of the colors that was originally in Pro Paint that I was trying to figure out how to match. They had a blue black in Pro Paint, and actually it was about to come out when I first came to Reaper, the weekend I got hired at the artist conference. They showed us that color, and I was like, this is a color that I need in my life. But then, you know, then MSP came along, Pro Paints got canceled, and I was looking around for a way to do it, and I finally figured out once we got our new high density bases, I was like, oh, I can make that blue-black now. I can make that color that looks black until you like thin it or add white, and then it's blue. I've always liked that. All right, there we go. So we've got those covered up. Now we can continue work. And this is okay because like I'll have to mix up the copper again anyway for the cage here, and when I do that I can also get the copper on these bags and the copper on the back of the belt where I want just the middle section I think to be copper. And then when I'm working on the highlights for the staff, which I kind of like to think of as maybe braided coral, then I can also do the highlights on the cloth. And yeah, I think I am gonna, we've got a little tiny bit of time left. I think I'm gonna grab my ancient oak and shade this little froggy leg, just because it's a quick little thing. Yeah, just be careful when you mix Nightmare Black with other colors, because you will definitely see that blue take over. So. Okay, just a little bit of my ancient oak. So just a quick plug as we come to the end for my Patreon. I'm working hard on my mixing anything, mixing skin tones actually from scratch is what we're doing. And I am doing equivalents for this, guys, so it will actually talk about MSP and Chimera colors and scale color artist. So it'll talk about colors from each of those that work. I'm going to do a 2-to-1. Yeah, exactly, because it can be both, right, Korniko? Because then you can use it as a blue for mixing somewhat for the limited palette, but you also can use it as a black. It's very versatile. Yeah, have fun. Having fun, Crowley. Go have fun at your meeting. Alrighty. And I want to get just a little bit of shadow on the froggy leg. Just a little bit. Because I want it not to be flat. And I want to get the edges a little darker too. The undersides. So quite a bit of ancient oak here. Ancient oak is my, like, if I need a dark green for a muted green color, if I need it to shade a muted green, I'll grab ancient oak. Ancient oak can actually get quite bright, and I'm going to do kind of a little stippling here to add bumpies to the frog leg. And then I'll grab my lemon yellow and just do a little bit of highlighting. Since I used lemon yellow to build this color, and yellow is a good highlight for greens, and this is a very yellowy green. So lemon yellow is a good green highlight color. There we go. There. Added a little texture, and that looks good. So yay, and it's not distracting because it's a muted green. It's there, but it's not distracting. So we're good there. So stuff we still have a lot to do. We have to highlight our oranges. We have to highlight our bags. We have to bring in the more copper. We need to highlight our cloth, and we need to finish the rings on his hands. So we still have quite a bit to do on. He's just a big guy. Like when you come around to it, it's just a big model. All these Scions will take you longer usually than you think they will. So we have a lot of highlighting. Oh, I did forget one thing. I need to get the cork. The cork. Cork on the bottle. Alrighty. Turn it down just a little. There we are. All right, fish it. Fish is still looking pretty good. All things considered, fish is coming along actually quite well. Yeah, he's looking good. Happy with him. Yep, yeah. Hey there, Miniatures Den. I figured you'd be here. Like, for some reason, I figured you'd be here promptly today, and so I actually ended on time. Amazing, I know. So it's time to go and walk the Kiki and have my lunch. So yeah, Fish-It's turning out great. I'm very happy with him thus far. We got a lot left to do tomorrow. We will be working on Huntsman Dude. Lodge Huntsman. Lodge Steward Huntsman Dude. Hunting Lodge Dude. Him. Yeah, and I was thinking about like purples and stuff and things and what other colors use, or a dark blue maybe. Yeah, so we're still mapping in. We're still using color theory to map in areas on this guide to figure out exactly how I want to proceed. Yeah, we did a bit of the leather and wood last time and did some shading on some of it. So that is where we're at. We'll be working on Burger Dude. I will enjoy the doggo. Yeah, she was on stream a couple times today, Miniatures Den. She's a monster. She's a 60-pound monster puppy. All right. Thanks, everybody. And I hope I will see you tomorrow. All right? Yeah, have a good day, everybody. I'll see you. Bye-bye.